to Elevate Virtual Conference. My name is Angie Chang, founder of Girl Geek X, and with us for the keynote is Happy Wang, who is the CTO at Audit Board. She will be discussing what it's like to go from developer to CTO and share with us her career insights. So welcome.
Thank you, Angie. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad, I have this opportunity. Thank you, Angie, for inviting me to speak in this very mission-driven event. Today I want to talk about the women in leadership. So I know it's always it's dear in my heart since I'm becoming a leader, and I know so how hard for women to advance their career, especially in the tech, but almost literally every industry, right? It's very hard for women to reach top. So I hope today I can share some experience, some learning lessons with all of you, to at least open up your mind to see what else we can do to get more women on the top. So I really excited to share some learnings with all of you. So I'm going to cover, here's the content I'm going to cover today in the next 40 minutes. Obviously, I want to leave room in the end to have a Q&A sessions. So I will talk a little bit about myself, and then we dive into what is glass ceiling, why does it still exist in today, and then I will share some key strategy I feel we can all practice to prepare yourself into a journey to get you to the top of the pyramid. Um, some leadership lessons I have learned when I built my career. I feel this is worth to sharing as well, and I will leave some critical thoughts for everyone. So a little about me. So I am a single child, born in Shanghai. So both my parents were biochemistry professors. So you can tell I grew up in a very academic-driven family, and both parents is work very hard, full time as professional. And my mom obviously always teach me to be a independent woman, to have a career goal in mind. So I kind of been trained. All the way, grow up. So I moved to US in 1998 after I finished my college. I came here for graduate school, and then I moved to Silicon Valley in 2000 as a Java engineer. So my first job as a Java engineer, work for a company called Sun Microsystem. So I do, a lot of people, if you are in young age, you may not even heard about this company before. But back in 2000, it was a great company. Especially they invented Java. If you are a Java engineer, you feel like, oh wow, I'm gonna work for a company like that. So I spent the next, past 20 plus years in tech across variety of a background and succeed in numerous roles. Early days, I work at a consumer facing company. I will talk a little bit, in my journey. I actually become a manager leader in PayPal. So before PayPal, I was always an IC engineer. So I worked at PayPal for almost 7.5 years. There I work, then I build a lot of a star company as well. So since I become leader, develop and growing people has always been my priority. So that's why I'm super excited to actually attend a virtual event like this, because again, I want to use all my lesson learned, all my past experience to share with all of you to help you actually accelerate your career, right? To get some shortcuts. So strength finder. So I think a lot of company right now does when you hire as a leader or even just an individual, they ask you to and do a lot of like a questionnaire survey to figure out what is your key strength. So I think this is like find my key strengths as pretty accurate. So I'm an achiever, so definitely I always had a goal in mind how to execute. I'm very strategic. We will talk about it, how you be strategic to grow your career. So I'm a learner. So for me, it's super important, especially in high tech, but even in other industry, right? Everything just evolves so fast. You just have to keep learning and keep yourself update on the latest trend and keep yourself, be competitive, still in the market. Otherwise, you're gonna run behind. Wu is more like a personality things, and also about how you connect people, communicate people, right? How you actually can work with different type of people. I think this is a very important skill as a leader, especially I think a lot of women actually does this better than men, because we tend to be able to work with a different type of person, different style of person. I think it's important because we're talking about a lot of diversity, right? Because different background, different personality people, and you are work together team, they drive the creativity, innovation. So, and I think it is a great thing if you can work with a different style of people. And communication, I think all of people is important, right? All the leaders, you need to be able to communicate well. So for me, I think my communication style is always very authentic. Very straightforward. I'm like a no BS person. All the people who work for me, who work with me knows. And always, basically is the candle, right? The candle feedback. Even this is important for a leader, how you carry conversation. Even sometimes a difficult conversation, it can be done nicely if you just be an authentic you. Some fun facts. I actually obsessed with names starting with beginning with J. So I married a husband named Jason. I have a 16 years daughter named Jessica. So I have a one small dog, Olaf. We actually named after Frozen character Olaf because just like a J. I thought it was more fun. And I also have a cat named Chihiro. Is a Miyakase movie. It's Japanese cartoons. Besides technology, I am a huge foodie. Really passionate about cooking. So I think my retirement life maybe be a chef. um, so glass ceilings. So what is glass ceilings and why does it still exist today? You can Google. The glass ceiling is just a metaphor used to describe an invisible barrier that prevents certain individuals, particularly women and minorities, from advance to a high position in their careers. So the left side, I think those are some causes. I think why we still have this, why glass ceiling is existing today, why has it and still existing today. So unconscious bias, prejudice and discrimination, some cultural stereotypes, the men's club, um, cultural factors. I think everyone probably experienced everything like this, especially the men's club is. I share a very recent stories, but I'm sure a lot of you guys probably had a similar story as well. So I work for a company called Audit Board. We just got acquired by a phenomenal growth funds and private equity, HG, back in May. So I was in the deal teams and represent Audit Board and to actually in this whole merger acquisition deal process. So the time we have, because company is doing really well and we have a lot of buyer looking to acquire our company. So we have to deal with a lot of different pitches. And one meeting I was in is very typical. So first, out of all the deal teams, I'm also the only woman too. So everyone else is a man, right? From our CEO, COO, CFO. And one actually as a private equity firm is very well known. They fly entire deal team from Chicago and London to meet us in the San Francisco office. So later that day, the room is about probably close. Their team, our team is maybe about 20 people. I am the only woman in the room. So 19 all men wear a suit. And I wish I think my colleague took a picture for me, but it's just one example, right? You just still see so little women, so few women be able to have the seat on table in those are very high, strategic initiative or any things. So I think as all of us, especially, I feel this is my huge responsibility. It's always be able to look out the woman, promote women to help them to get to where they deserve to be. Some example, you guys all know we have very relative few female CEOs in any industry, not even just high tech. Relative few female politicians, very few female head teachers, all the way from elementary school to university. We only had one Black U.S. president, non-female U.S. president ever. So, but really hoping this year we can make a change. But just across all the industry, right? If you want to look at on top, decision maker, at the C levels, it's just very, very few people. There's still, that means, there's still a lot of work for all of us to be here to do and continue pushing the envelope. So next session, I'm going to talk about what is a few strategies I personally learned, and also I practice myself. I still I'm still practicing myself today to help all of you to prepare your journey to help you one day to reach the top of the world. So my tagline is building your own brand. Okay, this is very, very important. Um, I mentioned I grew up, I have a lot of person I look up as my role model. My mom's definitely my role model. She passed away 3 years ago. Passed away from breast cancer. It's like, I feel like my world is destroyed. My mom definitely played a very strong influence in my academic and career. And I have a list of other women role model I've been looking up to. But only when I actually become leader and I starting growing my career, I also actually continue climb the corporate ladder, I realized you have to be you. Building your own brand is actually is very important. Even look at, I'm still looking at a lot of role model. I'm still learning a lot from them. But each role model you look up to, they always something you tie with you very well and something you are not really care that much. What I think the most important thing is to get what you learn from each role model you look up to, and almost like a cooking class, massage them, create your own recipe. Then it is becoming you. So for me, I like to be referred, everyone, right? We should, your identity. I like to be referred to, oh, happy, you're a great leader, because you are happy. It's not happy you're a great leader because you just look like so and so, right? So I think it's very important. Actually, you were surprised if you have your own brand. There's there's a lot more potential. There's no opportunity. Because you are not just one of others. There is your uniqueness, your creativity, your open mind. Everything is all came out. So I think it's very important to build your own brand. But how do you build your own brand though? Those are a list of things for me. That's how I look at how I actually look back my career last 20 years, especially when I in leadership role to study build my own brand. Is build a strong network, find a mentor, communicate your goals, double down your strength, take initiative, embrace changes, and advocate for yourself. Don't be shy. So I'm gonna double down a few of things, on this list. I think is really important. The first thing is to build a strong network. So the corporate world is the network of relationships, and those with the stronger networks are often the ones who advance their career faster. It's not just enough to have one or two strong connection. So build a robust professional network by reaching out to people in your industry, figure out what they do, how they do it, and identify ways to help each other. Is super important. That's why I think, big kudos to Angie, right? Angie and Angie's team to create this network for all of us. I think this is the foundation. So we need a lot more strong network among women to actually to promote each others, to actually help each other, to give motivate each other, to create a connection and a create opportunity to promote support each other to actually motivate each of us to achieve the professional service success. So I think the building strong network is very important for me. I'm also always willing to participate a lot of those kind of talk, even just meet up in now local network, because to lift other people up is actually one of my priorities as well. So I think I have done a lot before myself, but how I can continue lift women, lift other people in my network to give them more opportunity. So find a mentor is also super important. The good thing about the mentor is a good mentor actually can help you realize your potential and push you out of your boundary. I'm very fortunately to in my early career, when I was at PayPal, I was actually had a few mentors really meant to me how to make me self to be a better leaders. One thing is, I think there's something is, maybe also the woman thing. I think sometimes we tend to be a little bit humble, a little bit of feel like I maybe my time is not there yet. My prime time is not there yet. Even I'm a very goal driven person. I feel like, to reach that level, to take more responsibility, I still need to a year or two to prep myself. Versus then I work with other men leaders, men, they seem like a little more aggressive. They tend to actually do things they are not even qualified to do. That I can do it. Then actually speak. But for a woman, right, it's different. We want to make sure everything is perfectly prepared. Then ask for, I achieve. But that's why you need a really great mentor to actually push yourself, to actually tell you you can do it. Even you're not 9%, not 100% there. If you're 80% there, it's fine. So they can, push you, give you opportunity, and also they realize your potential. Sometimes they will always, we always overlook it, maybe I'm good at that too. But some mentor, that's important to actually help you. Next one is the communicational goals. I think this one is also harder for a lot of women. I realized because it's actually a very simple concept, right? Just communicate what do you want to achieve, what do you want to go, what's your goal. But it can be difficult for some people to do it because they feel this will be perceived as boastful or arrogant. Um, but communication goal, though, it is very essential if you want to advance in the corporate world. I also learned her lesson too in early career because again, this is because a woman tend to be humble, right? And you realize other people, your leaders, your managers will realize, they will realize this your strengths, there's something they will realize here you want to be. But it's on the other side, it's harder. It's not saying your manager not going to discover you, your manager not going to help you but everyone, right, is very busy, right? Think about your leader, your direct manager. He or she all have tons of on plane. He or she will never, they will not be able to really figure out, any signal you may want to sell a signal. Say, oh, I kind of want to do this. Did you realize that? So I much prefer now. I think maybe right now I'm more confident in myself. I much prefer to communicate my clear goal with my managers and even today in my own roles, right? Basic is, well, here's my goal. Here's what I want my company to achieve. What I want to lead my team to achieve. Here's my goal. So I need your support. So I think to be able to have that conversation, it is actually help both sides. Then your leaders, your managers will realize, okay, here's what you want to go. And here's a tool, the resource I can help you to achieve. So important to communicate your goal. Next one is double down your strength. I think this is important as well. No one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. Everyone has, strength and weakness. Obviously we always want to, very balanced, well-rounded leader. You'll hear this a lot. But to achieve everything equally is actually hard. And I also don't think this is, this is type back to your own brand. And people look at you to hire you as leader because they realize you have those strengths. They actually care less about your weakness. So as long as your weakness is not too bad. I think this is tied with even right. That's what you hear about the company building a product strategy. You want to see how your product differentiate from other competitor, right? You want to double down your differentiation, and the other product features you can be just a table step. If you have it, it's good, right? But you're really holding on the strengths. I think that's part I would encourage everyone, yes, to figure out your top 3 strengths. Is to keep practice it, keep double down your strength. This will be really actually useful for your career. So last one is advocate for yourself. This is a time, and it's slightly similar as a communication goal, but again, this is the one thing I know it's very bad. It's not a strength for a lot of women, but because but I will tell you, this is a skill can be learned, can be practiced. People. It's important to note advocating for yourself is not the same thing as being aggressive or pushy. Okay, it's just you need to practice this skill set to really make people hear your voice, right? Mostly important is your voice need to be heard, and you need to find a way to edify your ideas. As long as you're doing an elegant way, I think you can people won't think, you are like just, full of yourself, right? Aggressive pusher. So those are some key strategy. I think, I hope it resonated with you guys well. But those are things, I feel is great um, to practice every, day to day in your work, even in your life too, right? So, to help you how you actually to get to your end goal. Next one, I was going to talk about a little bit of leadership lessons I learned. I want to share some experience, how I actually progressed my career, and something I look back, I feel I'm really proud of myself. I did that. Okay. So three things, the first one is keep the end goal in mind, especially when the path to get there is unclear. So I will double down a bit on that too. The other one is constantly push yourself out of your comfort zone and to accelerate your professional learning. Okay. Last one is always is actually embrace change and be resilient. I actually think the woman is really good at the last point, and a lot of the extraordinary woman leader I fortunately work for or work with, I feel we are very resilient compared a lot of males leaders, but we can double down a little too. So the first one or two is kind of related. So um, I will share a story, my personal story, how I navigate this to reach my end goal. Uh, so when I made a decision, obviously, even today I talked to my engineer team, product team, right? Basically, being manager, is not the only way to get promoted. Some people is really just good as technical pieces. You should again double on your strengths, become a hardcore technology architect, right? You can be recognized, feel a lot of rewarding as well in IC IC path. But for me, I made a decision at the time at PayPal because I picked my career track. I feel I want to be a leader because for me is leadership a rewarding piece, more rewarding to me than become a because one thing I realized when I grow my IC corporate ladder, right, from engineer to principal engineer, I got every time I got promoted, I got I feel happy about it, but then I feel I'm more happy see other people got promoted in my team. So I think that moment for me, I feel my satisfaction, my career is about growing other people. So when I take the leadership role, and I know my end goal, I want to be a C-level person. I want to be a CTO, CPO, CPTO, right? In my last, I think I finally reached my goal maybe 7 years ago, um, and and then I have to prepare myself how you get to be a CTO of the company. So I grew my career very nicely in PayPal. I had a two role in PayPal. The first role is I lead the worldwide UI development team. It's very focused on today probably it's like front engineer. At the time we call it UI. I lead a lot of phenomenal front engineer, UI UX designer, research, right? So PayPal is very focused on the front end experience as a consumer. So we have a very large team. So I had a great opportunity to lead a worldwide team. My second role in PayPal is bootstrap their mobile development team. So we actually build the first, right now everyone is mobile, but back in 2009, mobile was still relatively new, and then be building a mobile app, iPhone, Android is a new thing. So the time when I actually left PayPal, I already established one of my brand. So I'm really good. I'm a super experienced and building anything in the front end and the mobile, anything in that kind of boundary. Literally every single job, every recruiter, every company, recruiting me is same role. Okay. So I took the next role as a service now. So again, it's very different product space as a B2B enterprise. I actually built their first engineering team in Silicon Valley, is holding their UI platform and the mobile team. But the CEO, the founder, even the time for it, they hired me, exactly for the role because they want building consumer experience into enterprise experience, right? They hired me for skill set. Again, very luckily in ServiceNow, did a great my career. But at one point, I feel I am stuck because again, I got a lot of recruiting call in Silicon Valley, right? For every single company, you can name it, big company, small company, but they always only give me one role. They already hired me head of the front development, whatever you call it, right? But I never get a chance, even I said, well, I think I could do other things, right? But because I am just, people look at your track record because you always done that role. And then they know you've done that before. And a lot of company, they do not like to take a risk because they feel like, I had happy for this role. I'm done. I'm sure that department is going to perform high performing. If I have happy to do an AI machine learning team, we don't know. Maybe he can, maybe she can learn, maybe she cannot. I don't blame, right? I don't blame company because sometimes even today still you hire you look at your background, you have your track record, that's your hyper role. But at that point, I decided to break my own glass ceiling because I need to build my own brand. Because my end goal, if my end goal is the CTO, I cannot just only doing UI stuff, right? I need my experience to be able to lead a different type of engineering team, different type of product team, and I have to expand my skill set, not vertically deep, but horizontal wide. So those are things I want to share the experience. Now you have to make your choices. Can you do a short-term setback? Your short-term setback could be a financial loss. Okay, and I made a very difficult decision to leave ServiceNow. And ServiceNow, I mean, even today is over 150 billion company, right? I could have very comfortable staying in ServiceNow for last 15 years, never do anything, but get a lot of money in the out of stock, but I probably will never reach a CTO role. And second thing is, are you willing to join a much smaller companies, which is now brand name? At that time, my track record is always like a brand name, well-known name, but you want to be, but again, you have to, sometimes you have to set it back and build up from bottom again, right? As long as to actually to finally reach your end goal. But if you are in very happily just feel like your goal is just be vertically in one areas, that also could be very successful. Also could be your approach. But for me, the time I know is my end goal is there, so I have to take a few steps back to actually grow everything up. And then the second piece is push you out of the comfort zone, right? I would say it's not easy to leave a super comfortable company, areas you've been down for 10 years, okay, to dab into a completely similar area, right? But you just haven't had a hands-on experience, right? So this part of I think the learning piece, I thought about my strengths finder, the learning pieces is important to augment, right? You have to just keep learning, keep push yourself out of the comfortable zone to accelerate professional learning. So I think those two things for me, I think is really carry forward my career, be able to get exposure to a whole lot more leadership competency skill I needed, technical chop I need to grow myself, be more hands-on, and then eventually I can land myself. It took a while to get people think about happy. You are not just a mobile person. You are not just a UI person, right? It took a while. There is I wouldn't say the journey is very easy. I could frustrate too because people still keep thinking, okay, can you do that? Even like one time, I actually people tell me feel like they told me I actually reached glass ceiling too. I probably will never be a CTO, but you got to believe in yourself. You guys keep a practice, pushing yourself to and reach your goal. So last one, embrace change and be resilient. The same thing. I think a woman though, I feel like we are. This is our strength. We naturally is just done better than men. I actually think it because again, we are a much humble person. So we are deal with failure much better than men. A lot of the men, they are a little bit arrogant, right? They do not want to admit failure. They're worried to fail. That's why they are not really resilient. Take a risk. They take less risk than women. And the woman tends to take a risk and be more resilient because we know if we fail, we can just stand up, says, "Oh, I failed. Admit it fails. I'm just learn lesson from my past failure. As long as I don't repeat a fail, I always something to learn." So I think again, I think this is our strength. But just I want to double down here. double down your strengths, just keep practice. Um, so this is actually my last slide. A few, quick thoughts I want to leave with the team. So why I think it's so important to have more women in leadership in the workspace. I think again, this is my number one goal, is to continue help all the women to grow, to reach the top of their career, no matter you pick the IC role or leadership role. But this is actually, I think this is important because I do firmly believe women leaders will paint the future. Okay. Um, so in today's world, women may not always realize their potential, but once unleashed, they have a direct route to success. When they find themselves in a leadership role, their capability and abilities are undeniable. There is a lot of research studies already being done by various academic research, industry research. People just says if the company has more women on the top, they tend to be more productive. They tend to be more, execution focused. They tend to be more efficient. They have a more culture. They have a more harmony between teams, right? So those are not, these are actually hard data stats and should back that up. So that means, but we just, need to find a more company can be achieve that, right? So we need to get a more company to be on that actually category to have a more women leaders on top. To succeed in a corporate world, you must be ambitious and confident. I think this is everything we all know. But one thing is I want to stress, that doesn't mean you have to give up being a woman. Okay, it's better if you don't. Actually, you can retain your femininity while still thriving towards success. I think this is very important. Again, as differential from us to be other, the male leaders, right? I think a lot of things we need to learn. Again, I'm a universal learner. I'm not saying a lot of strengths, a lot of competence and skill male has, we should learn. You actually will learn a lot from all the people you work with. But just be yourself. I think there is a special being a woman, okay? To be able to actually carry your ambitious confidence, but also being humble, being connected with people, being a little bit of harmony, right? But again, just want to leave those two quick thoughts to the all the folks on the call today. We need more women. We need more women at the top of the world, and it's all of us responsibility. And I just make sure it's always in my priority to actually promote a woman, to push a woman up, and to lift woman up. Okay, I think this all the slides I actually pretend to share, but I'm happy to. I know we have a few minutes left now, and I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions. Oh, I look at some. Okay, I'm just looking at some questions. Where would you suggest one can find the mentors? Okay. Well, I think a mentor is I think a mentor, you should find one within your company. I think it's important because it's because they have the direct contact, right? Where you work, they have because no matter which team you are in, you are working towards a business company goal. So they have a more context and they help you to navigate how you be successful to become a leader or get promoted within a company context. But you also should find a mentor outside your company is a network. So I personally, I have in my career, I have a mentor both within my company and outside company. When you grow up more and more, actually right now for me is I tend to my mentor usually is outside company because literally I mean not much people mentor in the company, right? It was already pretty high level. I will bounce my ideas with my peers, with my boss, but not necessarily mentor. But I have a lot of mentor outside actually company is in my network. Just help. They're gonna mentor me to conquer some challenge I'm facing particular things. And I also suggest your mentor should not be your direct manager. So I never like my direct manager be my mentor. Maybe that's also another reason I don't have a mentor in my company right now. I think to find a leader, not your direct manager, actually can give you more direct feedback, and also help you. Sometimes, right, is your part of a mentorship is possibly is how you work with your managers. Okay, I suppose what's your go-to recipe style? Interesting. I don't follow any recipes, so maybe this is something. I'm a really sort of a freestyle cooker. That's why I think um, I cannot be a baker because because I know if you are into baking, you really have to be very precise, right? When you bake a cake, when you bake a pastry. Um, for me, I'm not a creative person at all. So one of the things is that's what is not in my strength about be a artistic creativity. But only one part the creativity for me is private cooking. Um, I like to create my own recipe. So I probably will take some base recipe I just found online, but literally actually I'm gonna mix up the ingredient, not precisely follow all the things they want me to do there and create my own recipe. So one of my fun job in my tech career, I actually work for a company called Scripps Network Interactive. So this is a media company. I think right now they got acquired by Discovery Channel, but before they literally own like a full lifestyle content. If you guys ever follow HGTV, Food Network, Travel, and those kind of channel is owned by Scripps Network Interactive. So I run a digital media company, media team. So I do follow quite a bit of Food Network recipes. So because I work for them, right? So I support their site. Cool. Any other questions? So feel free. I mean, again, if you just go to LinkedIn, search Happy Wong, you can just find me easy on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me LinkedIn connection. I'll be happy to stay in touch. If anything I can do to help any of you, support any of you to further grow your career, to accelerate your growth. I'm really happy to do. I will make time for you guys.
Thank you so much for that inspiring talk about how we can paint the futures.